intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
We want thickness.
I just want to be happy. Like, money isn't everything, fame isn't everything, popularity isn't everything. Like, I just want to wake up every day and I want to be happy, because there's so many people who wake up every day and they're so unhappy. They're unhappy with their life. They're unhappy with their choices. They're unhappy with their bank account. Like, I feel like we're going to always find something where they're unhappy with the way they look. They want to fix their body. We're always finding something wrong instead of something right. And so I just feel like happiness is all, that's how I measure success, is if you are truly happy.
Totally agree, 100%.
Thickness.
What's up, everybody? You are now tuned into the Thiccness Protection Program. This is the podcast celebrating body positivity for the adult content creator community. And if you don't already know, I am the Thiccness Pro. It has been a long time coming, but I am finally joined by the lovely Miss Stella Daniels.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. So glad to, I've known of you for quite a while.
Yeah.
We have like all the same mutual friends, mutual protectors in our corner. So it's time to finally meet. Cheers, Joe.
Cheers.
Excellent.
Pardon the interruption, protectors, but this is Pimpin' Palm, the Mac and Memoji. And before we go any further in this interview, I'm gonna need you to click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notification bell. And if you're listening on Spotify, make sure you are following the podcast. And please leave a rating before you get up on out of here. Now back to the Thiccness Protection Program. Pimpin' Palm, the Mac and Memoji. You dig?
We want thickness.
Glad we could kick it. Okay.
Yes.
You know what? I don't know. I'm like, where should I start? Sharp, shout out to Sharp Tank, one of my favorite podcasts too.
That was a very intimidating podcast. He was super sweet. Just the entire, knowing that it's no jumper, and that facility is so big, and the cameras are just, I was a little nervous.
Yeah, I haven't been over to their new studio yet, but sheesh, that's a multi-million-dollar facility, and he's one of the coldest, somebody I definitely look up to. So
I love Sharp. He was super nice, very sweet. A lot of people were like, "Oh, be careful, da 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 da." He goes off on people, and he did not do that one time with me. So he was
come a long way, and I don't want to get wrapped up in the no jumper, but hey, despite whatever's going on over there, I still respect it, and it's still, I studied a lot of no jumper in my day, so
yes,
nothing but love for those guys. All right, but where do I start with you? You're 29, you're born and raised in Dallas, Texas. You got 3 kids. One part in your last interview, you did say that you came from an open-minded family.
Yes.
And I just kind of wanted to know, how did they respond to, you doing what you do, at this day and time?
So, I really only have my mom and my sister.
Really?
So my dad passed away in 2013. Okay. But we've always just been a really close-knit family, and very open. The very first time I had sex, I went home and immediately told my mother, things like that. So whenever I was considering doing the industry, I actually had contacted a lawyer first, because I was, nervous with having little children and having all of my stuff plastered everywhere. I wanted to make sure that, I couldn't get my kids taken away. That was one of my biggest things. So made sure that was, as long as everything was legal, they said that I couldn't get my kids taken away, yada, yada. I was like, all right, cool. And then I immediately went and told my mother, told my grandma, told my kids' grandparents on their other side of their family, and everybody was super. I mean, I'm an adult. I don't ask anybody for financial help, I do everything on my own. So unless you're contributing to my pockets, you have no say in what I do.
Definitely. I'm amazed that you had such a good support system around you. I think, that played into your confidence as a performer and just as a woman, how you carry yourself. Would you agree?
I agree. 100%. Cool.
Now, originally when you said your daughter had gotten sick and then you started working at the strip club, and then from there, that's how you got in the game. Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit more about that point of transitioning from being a dancer to other things in the sex work world?
So when I chose to do like the dancing portion, I was a lot smaller than what I am now. So it was a little bit more lucrative for me. However, I will say I don't care what anybody says. I have been in multiple strip clubs. I have worked in multiple strip clubs, from high-end strip clubs to, hole-in-the-wall strip clubs. And I've worked at BYOBs. I've worked literally at everything. And like I said, at my smallest. So with that being said, it's like there's really no money in the strip club unless you go to a high-end strip club where there's like rappers throwing money. But even then, to my knowledge, I think you have to split that money with all of the girls. Whenever they're throwing it on all of the girls at the same time, everybody has to split it.
Right. So after the night is through, they're in the back counting everything up and dividing it however many ways.
Exactly. So it's like you might go home with $1,000 or a couple $1,000, but I mean, you just worked for 12 hours on your feet all day when, I can make that in a couple of hours not doing much at all, So it wasn't like, I don't know. It's not as lucrative as people make it out to be. So I was doing that, and I still had a child. Well, I only had one child at the time, but I had one child. I still had daycare, a car payment, a condo I was living in. So I was like, trying to still pay everything, and I was struggling. I was like, okay, like this isn't working. Like, how do girls say that this works? I suppose, like, maybe if they, have other people helping them, but I was a single mom doing it on my own. So then I transitioned into sex work, and it's been great ever since.
100 ways to get paid, it's a place being made. 100 ways to get paid, it's a place being made. On your mark, ready, set, let's do it, we get into it. Old school retro play, I brand new it, I ran through it. Give me something I could jam to it.
So in that transition, like, what was your first thing getting your toes wet in, like, sex work? What was that first hat you wore in that side of the world?
Escorting.
Okay.
Yeah. Escorting was like my first transition into sex work. Is that what you mean?
Right.
Okay. So yeah, escorting was like my first transition into sex work. And then I started doing that, and I started seeing like, oh my gosh, like I can literally work one day or a couple of days and pay all of my bills for the whole month. And then I still have 28 days to work, and you know what I mean? And so like the money was just coming in, and it was so fast and it was so much. And I was like, wow, like this is, who wouldn't choose this life, know? And
I've never really been a big strip club dude. Y'all know I prefer my underground rap shows, my warehouse parties, and just house parties, kickbacks. But yeah, I've never really been a big strip club dude. But in your experience with those and working with the other ladies in there, do you find that most of the girls do some other type of sex work?
Of course.
Like 100% of them?
100% of it. I worked, and it's crazy. You never really realize what goes on behind closed doors. I mean, I'm in the back, and like I said, my entire motivation behind everything I do is to make sure, before anything, I'm a mother first. And I know, and and it's like, thank you. And it's like, people will be like, oh, well, you're doing sex work. And it's like, okay, and like, I don't bring my work home.
Right.
My kids have a full-time mother. I'm at every soccer game, every soccer practice. I'm at every PTA meeting. I'm at every, I'm at drop-off. I'm at pickup. Like because of the way my life is set up, I'm able to be everything that my kids need me to be. I'm literally a stay-at-home mom but making money. You see what I mean?
Do some people, outsiders, assume you're a bad mom because you're a sex worker?
Of course. Everybody essentially associates that, like, oh, like, she doesn't hang out with her kids, oh, this and this and this. I'm with my kids 24/7. My only time to really travel and do stuff like podcasts and, shooting is in the summertime. June and July are my two biggest months that people will always see me traveling the most because that's when my kids are out of school.
Right.
As soon as my kids go back to school, I go back to being a full-time mom.
So it's June 1st tomorrow. As far as your shooting goes, like, what do you got on the calendar?
So, Clint from Plumper Pass, shout out to Clint.
Shout out
Clint, shout out Plumper Pass. He messaged me and Chanel this morning. Chanel Barbie, her and I are going in August to shoot a scene for him.
So you're juggling it, you're balancing it, and it sounds like you have a good balance between your public persona and then Stella, the mom, Stella's own whatever
Stella,
your
Trinity, everybody else.
Yeah, whatever. You as a woman is off camera.
Right.
So like, how do you maintain that? Like, maintain a public image and be active on social media and all those things, and then still be true to yourself and true to your family?
I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm not as active on social media as I should be. I hear that all the time when it comes to Instagram, Twitter. I don't have a Snapchat, so I really just operate on Instagram and Twitter. And people are constantly like, you don't post enough. You don't post enough. You're not promoting this. You're not promoting that. And it's like, it goes back to my kid. My kids always take priority. So it's like, by the end of the day, after I've cooked dinner and I've got my kids in the bed, it's like, if I have the energy to post, I will. I do scroll. Like, I'll get on and do like the whole like
and engaging on other people's stuff. Scrolling bowling, as I call it.
Yeah, that's exactly, until I fall asleep with my phone on my face. So, I'll do that, but it's like, I'm learning to like make posting certain things more of a priority. Like, I did post about my website because www.stelladaniels.com did go live a couple of months ago.
Congrats.
Thank you. So I've been posting about that and stuff, but yeah, it's been it's very hard to juggle it all. I'll be honest. I do have I have like my Stella Daniels account, and then Who I Really Am account that has like all my kids and stuff. I haven't even posted on that account in months because I just don't. I've geared myself more towards posting on Stella stuff because that's the account that brings me money, and so I've just kind of gotten out of the way of posting on like my personal stuff. And I mean, I do Sunday Fun Day with my family. Like, I mean, I really am a family person. So, at the end of the day, my family comes first. And so sometimes my sex work does come last. And so that's why I know, like, I could be further in my career. I feel like I could be making more money in my career than what I am if I were more active. But it just doesn't always happen that way.
Well, one thing, I admire how you're so family oriented. And one thing recently, I did a poll or a question thing on my story that was like, what is your definition of success? And I remember your response specifically was just one word: happiness.
Correct.
And I was kind of amazed at how many people, like, there were people who mentioned finances and what is their definition of success. Right. But that was actually in the minority compared to all the people who just said, I want to just be doing the right thing, or I want to be closer to God, or, and just, I kind of liked how you just said happiness, one word.
Yeah.
Told me a lot about you.
Yeah, I just want to be happy. Like, money isn't everything. Money isn't everything. Fame isn't everything. Popularity isn't everything. Like, I just want to wake up every day and I want to be happy, because there's so many people who wake up every day and they're so unhappy. They're unhappy with their life. They're unhappy with their choices. They're unhappy with their bank account. Like, I feel like we're going to always find something where they're unhappy with the way they look. They want to fix their body. We're always finding something wrong instead of something right. And so I just feel like happiness is all. That's how I measure success, is if you are truly, truly happy.
Totally agree, 100%. Now, in escorting, I gotta know, like, what are some of the most outrageous things the clients will ask you to do?
I have had crazy stuff. So, I mean, you name it, I've done it, literally. Like, I've pegged people, I've pegged men. Like, I've had men come in who look like bikers, and they're wearing their wife's thongs, and they just want me to fuck them in their ass. And I don't know if I can say that on here.
Say it.
But they want me to, fuck them in their ass. Hairy ass men just want to be like long ponytail, like literally, like it's always the bikers. And shout out to my bikers.
Vroom, vroom. Shout out to the bikers. Yeah.
But it's fun. Like, I feel like I'm learning that I do like to dominate people. I'm learning. Okay. This summer I'm getting more into like cooking. I really enjoy cooking.
Because the first time our girl Chanel Barbie was here, she had to explain to me what cooking was.
I love cooking.
And I had heard of it, but like I just had to hear it from the person who really does it.
Yeah, it's a lot of, it's very like invigorating. Like,
so in a cooking situation, is the man an escort as well? The black guy an escort as well? Not
normally. They can be. But I mean, it just depends. A lot of those a lot of the men who are like the black guy, like the bull, is what they
the
call
bull,
it.
yeah.
The bull. So a lot of the bulls are either in the swinger lifestyle, so they're already kind of used to, orgies and multiple people in a room, things like that. Or they're bi. A lot of them are bisexual. And so it's just easier for them.
Okay. So it's like a couple will hire you to...
So it's super rare in sex work, but I have had to hire a bull before.
Okay.
And he was a bisexual man, but he was actually a white guy, and he just had to, he fucked me while the other guy like just kind of sat in the corner and watched. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm able to say this.
No, please explain.
Okay.
Or this can go on premium Thiccness on my Patreon, which you guys can subscribe to.
That too. Okay, so it was like me and then the guy, and then there was another guy, and the guy that was watching is the one who paid. He paid me. Does that make sense? Like he paid me, and then I broke off my bull, and so he was a sissy. So he came in, and it's funny because he came in a suit and tie, like to the T. Like he was a high in, like he's a very big lawyer in Dallas.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh. There's a lot of lawyers in Dallas, but he's a very big lawyer. Yeah. I'm like, shit. Hopefully he's not watching. Hey. So he initially paid me, and so he came in, dressed him up, in lingerie. He's a sissy boy. So dresses him in lingerie, and then I just tell him that, he's a little bitty bitch, and my bull fucks me, and I just tell him, like, you're a little bitty bitch, like, you could never fuck me like him, your dick isn't this big, and, like, he gets off on
being
humiliated and degrading.
And I've heard from other girls who have been on the show that, like, a lot of businessmen types will sign up for these things because, they're making all this money and they're in their suits, but, like, they're not... Maybe they're married to somebody and it's just like too stale for them, or if they're not, this is how they explore their wild side.
Right. So how I've come to learn, and usually it is a lot of men empowered. It is a lot of men who have money, or status or something of that nature. Yeah. And it's like when you're constantly the boss, it's great, right? Like we all love to be the boss, but it's nice to like let loose. You know what I'm saying? And if you are like a boss, you'll realize like when everybody does what you say when you want it and everybody's answering to you, and it's like sometimes you just want to relinquish that power and you just want somebody else to make you their bitch, like you just want to have to bow down and do something that somebody else wants. And it's like I can kind of understand it,
Do you ever get like a lovey-dovey types who just want to like cuddle and like be like... Yeah.
I get a lot of lovey-doveys, a lot of people who want to cuddle. In the game, it's called GFE, so it's like a girlfriend experience. So I get a lot of that. I mean, and I've come to realize that those are my favorite friends. All my clients are clients and friends. I've never really used the word trick.
Yeah,
I don't use that I was actually
going to bring that up. I've heard a variety of people in the lifestyle talk down about the clients and refer to them as tricks. No. And I hear that from other escorts, and just I'm kind of wondering, like, why is there this culture of talking down on the clients?
Correct. So, and that's I don't understand it. I don't understand it because, at the end of the day, those are the people who are, there's a million women in this world that they could choose to give their money to. Because if you think you're the only escort, you're not. If you think you're the only beautiful escort, you're not. If you think you're the only beautiful escort with her body done, you're not. If you think you're the most beautiful escort who doesn't have her body, you're not. There's people in this world who are always going to be prettier than you and uglier than you, And so
big facts.
This man chose to take his hard-earned money that he has worked for to pay you for a service that's, 30 minutes or an hour or whatever. And and we're talking like I can't speak for everybody in the industry, but I was like, what my clients are paying me, like I know some people who work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week to make that, and I'm making it in 1 hour. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he chose to take his hard-earned money and pay me out of anybody. So it's like this man is keeping the roof over my head. He's keeping the food in my kid's mouth, you know, and shout out to my kids' dads because, you know, especially my son's dad, because he is a hard worker. He's a great man. You know, we do have like our ifs, you know, our spiffs here and there. But at the end of the day, he's a good man. He works hard. But, you know, I've even him, like other people constantly down my clients. And I'm just like, they're the ones who pay for everything. They pay for all of my kids' extracurriculars. They pay, when you think about it, like, I mean, that's what they do. Same thing with like the people who are fans, who are subscribed to my OnlyFans. Like, those are fans. Those are clients. Those are my friends. Like, they're not tricks. Like, that's not, like, I think that's such a degrading word to people who take care of me, who, you know, do for me what other people aren't doing, you know? So I don't like the word trick.
Right. Well, to the opposite of trick, you know, from your strip club transformation to escorting, have you ever worked with a pimp?
No.
No. Okay.
No. I do have some friends that are, or I have some friends that are, and I also have some friends that are under instruction. And you know, that's their dynamic. That's, you know, like everybody's dynamic is different. If you choose to have one, if you don't choose to have one, you know, as long as there's mutual respect between, you know, the parties involved, that's really all that matters. But
do you believe like a woman in your position could still have what would be, quote, a normal romantic relationship?
No.
Oh, can you elaborate? Yeah. So no boyfriend, no husband, normal.
No. I really just don't. I'm at a position in my life where I talk to people, but that's really all I do is just talk at this point because I don't really, I mean, I'm so busy with my kids. It's rare that I get a moment away to where I can actually spend quality time, build a connection, build a relationship, you know, and not only that, but finding. And it's funny. Okay, so I actually talked to my Uber driver about this last night. He picked me up from one of my clients' houses. And we were talking, and he was like, oh, what are you doing? Where are you from? You know,
okay.
And I'm just a
natural curiosity like me.
And I'm a naturally open person. You know,
Okay.
I know some people don't like to tell their stories, but
Yeah.
me, I don't really care. Like, I mean, this is my story, you know? So, he picked me up, you know, I told him what I did and he straight up, and I told him, I said, you know, I can appreciate a man who understands what I do, but I don't ever want, like, how do I say this? So it's nice when I have people who not appreciate, but who understand what I do and they are accepting of it. Mm-hmm. But I never really, I sit back and I think, and I'm like, well, do I really want my man, like my husband, like my future husband or my current boyfriend, do I want him to be okay with the fact that I'm having sex with a bunch of other people for money?
It takes a very, very strong man and character to be like okay with that. Because just the jealousy factor is one thing. And, you know, I believe jealousy is a useless emotion. But it's just, you know, there's a future video about this coming, y'all. And y'all might be lucky if you get it before the Stella Daniels interview comes out. But check this out, though. It's the fact that, you know what, you might be laying there with your girl and you want to be intimate and shit. And then when she has to get up and go to work, that implies being intimate with somebody else. Correct. And you might think you're just A-okay with that. But when you are dealing with a sex worker, they are constantly on the clock.
Correct.
Yeah, as a content creator as well, 9 times out of 10. Yeah.
And I have let my content creating slip a little, but you know, I'm like a doctor. I'm literally on call 24/7. And I will say I don't take all of the calls.
Yeah, because you might go from sending each other pics of food every day and you know, sending each other songs on Spotify and just every day, and you know, y'all might not even be able to go to the bathroom without texting the other one about it. Exactly. But when she realizes that she can run up a whole fucking bag up on Sex Panther or Night Flirt and be talking to all of these gentlemen and not fucking with your ass, that might make you feel some type of way.
It might make you feel some type of way, you know. And I, in my relationship, you know, in my old relationship, I did my best to, you know, like, and I'm not gonna lie, like my work slipped trying to make that person happy. You know, in reality, like I said, what is your true measure of success? For me, it's happiness. And I was just unhappy in that situation because, you know, as much as I cared about that person and stuff like that, it was just like, you don't understand. That person wasn't in the industry. You know, they weren't in sex work. So it's like, and then people are like, oh, well, you date somebody in sex work. And it's like, even people who are dating in sex work, they're still miserable. Like, they still fight. They still argue. Like, I think it's even worse, honestly, than having like a person who's not in the industry. You know what I mean? Because it's just, I mean, there's so much jealousy regardless if you're in the industry and dating within the industry or if you're not in the industry. Like, that's why I have just chosen to not date right now.
That's a good point, Stella, because a couple times ago I was having a session here and me and the two ladies who are on the panel were just like, you know what, regardless if you're in the adult industry or in sex work or in the vanilla world like me, for singles, dating is really, really tough. Yeah. And my engineer, Laurent, actually just put out a video. Go subscribe to my brother, Laurent Pierce's channel, actually, if you could, please. All the protectors out there. But he put out a video just where he kind of basically just swore off of dating. Yeah. And I just wanted to know, how did we get to this point where, you know, it's just not, dating is just so complicated and convoluted for every single.
It is so unfortunate, and unfortunately, like, the older we get, it is harder to date because as you get older, you start to realize how people were raised. You start to, you know, when you're younger, it's like, you know, oh, you're just having fun. You don't care. You're just having fun. But it's like, as you get older, like, how you were raised starts to play a part. How you want to grow your life, how you want to build your family, like, everything starts changing. And then it's like trying to find somebody who's on the same path as you, who wants the same things as you. And it just, it gets harder. Like, you know, like, being almost 30, I've realized, like, I really love being a family person, you know? So, like, my person needs to love being a family man, not in the club or in the streets. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I need someone who's a family man. Like, I need someone, you know, like, there's just so, and it's so sad, but there's so much that I'm requiring right now that I know that there's a lot of people who cannot give me that. So I would rather just have fun, casually have sex, you know, enjoy conversations with people. You know, do I have a couple of people right now that, you know, like, I really, really care about? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, like, we're on our completely own paths, you know, and it's unfortunate.
I sort of feel the same way. In fact, lately this podcast has helped me open up my mind a lot, and it's been, you know, over a year since this started. And I've just been kind of like, you know what, maybe stop viewing, and y'all know when the glasses come off, it's like, here comes that knowledge. But maybe stop viewing love life as, you know, this destination to find the one, you know, and view it as the journey. It's not about the one, it's about the sum.
I agree. It's about the sum, and, you know, it's, we spend our life trying to find that person that makes us happy, and like, oh, this person is going to complete me, and oh, this person is what's going to make me happy. When in reality, it's like, no, like, find yourself, make yourself happy. And then you start, you know, bringing in the people who fit that lifestyle that you're looking for.
Right. Yeah. It's make yourself happy. Do for yourself. Yeah. Correct. It's all about loving yourself, first of all.
And I love myself.
I love myself too. Thank you. Now, let's get into some scene specifics. Okay. Now, one of my personal favorites, shout out to my good brother Finny, is the one we all love, Finny. And one of the ones is when he did the reverse gangbang with you, Chanel Barbie, Monique Leslie, and Luna Lark. Tell me about that experience.
Oh my gosh.
Because how can one man handle 4 BBWs? That was fucking radical.
Okay, Finny is a champ. Let me just throw that out there. Finny is like no other. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have yet to find another man that is like Finny when it comes to his creativity, when it comes to his comedy, when it comes to
his character, as a dude.
Like, he's such a sweet man, and I really do love him to death.
Got you, bro.
But yeah, that scene was crazy, actually. I I remember it, but I barely remember it. I want to say I think we were in LA when we shot that.
Seems like it.
Yeah, I think we were in LA.
I don't know why. I just kind of did the math, and two of y'all live here. I
think, shout out Eliza Allure, but I think we were all in town together for like one of her events or something. Yeah. I'm really like, I've shot so many scenes. It's like they all just kind of mushed together at some point. But I do remember that scene, and it was a lot of fun. It was actually my first ever time. I don't know if it was my first ever time shooting with the other girls, but I'm super, super close with Chanel Barbie. And
yeah, y'all have the same birthday, right?
December 19th? We have the exact same birthday. Twins. Except I was 93, she's 95.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're a couple years apart, but we have the exact same birth, same month, same day, same everything. Like, she's literally, like, my little soul sister. But she, that was my first time ever shooting with her. I remember that was my first time I ever ate her pussy.
Let me ask you that. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Yeah. When y'all are just like chilling, being girls, do you ever like, come here, baby?
No.
Like, you're not, so you're gay for pay?
I'm gay for pay only.
I see.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think women are beautiful. I think women are so beautiful. I think women are more beautiful than men, even though I'm more, like, I'm not attracted to women, like, sexually, mentally. Like, I don't want to be with a woman in a relationship. However,
so if you see you do something lesbian on camera, it's strictly for the camera.
It's strictly for the camera. Okay. Yeah. In my case, I know I can't speak for every woman who does girl, but in my case, like, I really like dick. Like, I really like men. You know, I really like a masculine, strong man. Like, I'm learning as I get older to like. You see it going around Instagram, but like that feminine energy. Like I'm ready. I love being in my feminine energy. Like I love a man who can lead. I love a man that can be in control. Like I love a man that can carry what he's supposed to carry. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, when I'm with girls, it's definitely strictly for pay.
Okay. One thing I wanted to ask you was that in your time in this business, what is your perception of men?
I love men. I've always loved men. You know, if anything, it's made me see men in a better perspective.
Wow. No, the range of answers I've gotten from that question, you know, now with yours in the collection just kind of blows my mind. But,
I used to think men were complete shit. I used to think they were all dogs. And some of them might be, you know, like I'm not speaking for the masses, but at the same time, it's like I have come across men who are, and this more so in sex work with escorting, but it's like, you know, I've seen men who are really good husbands, you know, who take care of their family, who their wives don't work, their wives want for nothing, and all they want is their dick sucked. All they want is someone to touch them physically and make them feel wanted. And when you get married, a lot of times you forget and you lose that sense of trying to keep your person, you know? And so a lot of these people, they just want love. Like I've had clients tell me like, oh, I came and saw you, and then I went home and I did the dishes and I rubbed my wife's feet for her.
That's very fascinating.
Isn't that fascinating? And I'm like, okay, I'm like, great. Like I'm like, and then she wants to fuck him, you know, after that. And it's like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the thing is a lot of men don't want to take that first initiative step because they're like, I've been at work all day. I've been doing this. But it's like, once they get that release, now they're willing to do some things that you want. And it's like, and that's what us women, you know, it's unfortunate because we've grown up in this women empowerment, and I'm all for women empowerment. But at the same time, it's like, you sometimes someone has to give in first. You know, you can't both just be like this. And it's like, I want this. If nobody's giving in at some point, then nobody's going to get what they're wanting. Does that make sense?
Right.
So it's like, I want the dishes done. Well, I want my dick sucked. Well, I want the fucking dishes done. Well, I want my fucking dick sucked. And so you're not getting your dick sucked until the dishes are done. Well, I'm not doing the dishes until you suck my dick. It's just like it's like a big, huge thing. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, someone has to give in. And girl, if that's you, give in, especially if your man is doing what you want, especially if he's, you know, paying the bills, if he's holding up his end of the bargain of the relationship. It's like, you know, like you gotta give in sometimes.
One in the chamber, exits to your dome. Me some serpents slid through, written in your home. Stuck out in and I'm steady breaking bones. Don't try to say, don't reach for your phone. Every day, Robin call me on my other phone. Been a G since a young and now I'm fucking grown. We some underground demons unknown. Not forget we exist, no we ain't the clones. To your dome, you alone. Every day. Getting paid, fuck I say. Hit the ass in the motherfucking ashtray. Still got Anna, fuck around and find out. We don't play, nobody fail, you ain't end up great. Now that I'm say before you get it straight. You gon' let it spray your body, gon' be stone cold, just like how they play. In the back, I'm a motherfucking Chevrolet. Today was your motherfucking last day.
I believe all relationships have an element of compromise to them.
Yeah.
But do you believe that like a compromise for what a man does financially should be like rewarded with what a woman can do sexually?
That's a hard question.
Thickness protection program, home of the hard questions.
That's a hard question because I feel like yes and no, you know, like yes and no. I mean, you know, us as humans, we are so animalistic. You know what I'm saying? Like, sex is such a inherited trait. It's not a need. Sex isn't something we. I'm sorry. I meant what? Sex is. I did the same thing on No Jumper, but sex isn't something. It's a need. It's literally like water. We need water. We need sex.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
As well as food and oxygen. And
It all ties
Music,
in.
yes.
I mean, you think about it. I mean, like, even in the animal kingdom, it's like, because I always refer back to sex with the animal kingdom. It's like literally all they do every day is wake up and search for food and water and procreate. And essentially we are the exact same way. You know what I'm saying? With a little bit of extra stuff thrown in here and there. But, you know, sex really is a need as a human. And so it's like when your man is needing that, like, I don't understand, you know, if he's you know, beating your ass and he doesn't have his half of the rent and he's not, you know, helping out with the kids, or, you know, he's not doing what he needs to do as a man, then no, you shouldn't have to give him, you know, sex. He doesn't, at that point, I'm sorry, you don't even deserve it, you know? But like if he's holding up his end of the bargain, I don't understand why.
Yeah, whatever that may be, financially, emotionally, physically.
Yeah, like, I mean, if if the girl is the breadwinner and if he's keeping a clean house and he's keeping the kids good, or vice versa, like, I think that he should get what he wants, just the same way that I think women should get what they want. Okay,
interesting. Okay. Well, another scene specific I wanted to talk to you about was the couple you did with Plumper Pass. The one where you had the big lollipop.
Yes.
And then the other where you had the cake.
The cake, yes.
The cake. Now,
that was fun.
I want to give a scenario special for today called Stella's Sweet Shop.
Ooh.
If you had in Stella's Sweet Shop, if you had a sweet prop for your next scene, what would it be?
A candy cane.
A candy cane.
Yeah,
so we're getting that Christmas scene next?
I love Christmas stuff.
Yeah. It'd be funny to see you like fuck the gingerbread man or something.
I would love that. I could totally get Finny to do that. Finny would so do that. But
laughing because you're right.
I know. Finny would totally. Look, as soon as he sees this air, he's gonna text me and he's gonna be like, "Already bought the costume." Like, I already know him. Already got the costume ready. But yes, no, but so. I remember when I say a candy cane, so it's like, first of all, I love Christmas. It's my favorite time of year. Mm-hmm. I love doing Christmassy themed stuff. I just did a Christmas themed thing with, it was me, Jessica Jax.
Shout out to Jessica Jax. We're going to interview her soon too.
She's amazing. And then same thing with TT Pog. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did it with those two girls. And then there was Jay Playhard. And there was like two other guys. It was a lot of us. It was so many. But we had like the red and green lights. We were all dressed in like our like holiday spirit, and like I love scenes like that.
Ugly sweater party, then everybody's.
Oh my god, I love that one. I'm gonna have to take that one.
Oh god,
that one. I'm gonna have to take that one.
Well, that's a great transition into my next segment, which is a brand new segment. Stella gets to hear it for the first time. This is called the Erector's Chair. If you were directing a scene of your own creatively, what you got?
Okay, so I'm not really big onto like the whole like. I'm a very POV person.
I see.
You know, so when I'm watching stuff, I don't care what the face looks like. I just want to see a vagina and a penis, and I just want to see the penetration.
I see.
You know, so I don't know if I'd be the best director. Now, I will say I'm really good at getting good, like, because I have directed some stuff before. Okay. Like, I helped direct, Julie Ginger did, like, a gangbang with, like, 7 or 8 dudes, and I did help like try to get in all the crevices for her and stuff, which was a lot of fun.
Quite the worker bee, that Julie.
Yeah, she is. And so that was a lot of fun, and I was getting some real good mouth action, like it was a lot of fun. But I'm just a very POV kind of person. I don't really like when I'm looking for porn myself, I'm not like I don't care about the storyline.
Yeah.
Like I always like fast forward right until like 3 minutes before the cum portion, and then I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Like that's all I care about.
So you watch porn in your personal life?
Sometimes I watch. So before I actually started shooting porn, I had never really watched porn. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'd seen it, but I was like, wasn't really into it. But it's like what happened is when I was gonna do my first scene for Plumper Pass, like 3 months prior to going and shooting that scene, I was on research mode. I was watching every type of porn you could imagine. I found porn I didn't even know existed. Like,
yeah.
I was like, wait, they have cartoon porn? Like, what?
Shout out to hentai.
I love hentai porn.
Okay.
I do. So that and cream pie is like my two.
Could you ever see yourself getting into animation and making that type of content?
I would love to do that.
Yeah, because I'm learning to animate a little bit myself.
Are you?
So...
Yeah, I wouldn't even know where. I actually don't watch anime at all in my life, but that right there, that's so the only anime I watch is porn anime. But I do like it. I do, like I said, cream pies. I love cream pies. I don't do them in porn. I don't really do them in my personal life, but I love it. It's just one of those things that like you can't really do, and so you want to do it.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get into our segment Down in the DM, Stella. What is your craziest, funniest, most out-of-pocket, ridiculous DM or email you have ever received? There's too many to count.
There's so many.
But off the top of your head.
Off the top of my head, I have had people want to pay me for my shit.
Yeah, Chanel said the same thing.
Yeah.
I used to always laugh and chuckle about, the stat
like,
stuff, and now I'm so used to hearing it. I'm like, huh?
That is disgusting. I think poop is so nasty.
Yeah. It is.
Like, I think human, animal, anything that comes out of something as waste is disgusting, okay? So I can't get down with any of that. I don't even do anal. Like, there's no way. I can't do it. But either the poop stuff. I can remember something specifically that one of my friends got a DM about that to this day is crazy to me. And it was a guy. He owned a yacht. He wanted to pay her like $20,000 or $30,000. Yes, for her to come on his yacht for 2 hours. He had a pet monkey.
No!
He wanted her to fuck his monkey while he watched.
Not bestiality. Hell
yeah,
no.
And
he should go to jail for that.
Yeah, and so I was like, whoa, like to this day, I never like have forgotten when she told me that. And this happened for her years ago. But that's like the one thing when people I'm like, it didn't happen to me personally, but I know
Just
someone
imagine the
did.
man who's thinking about 30,000 and a monkey fucking, and we're monkey fucking on a boat. Yes,
oh my
sir.
God. Some people are, whew.
Some people, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
All right, let's get into our segment, Skin Deep. Now, on your
Okay.
back somewhere, we can't see it, but you have that
No.
tattoo of the elephant,
Yeah,
right?
even if I take this off, I don't think you can see it. But yeah, I do have an
So
elephant.
what's the inspiration for that?
So my dad, he was a big boy. He was like 6'3", 6'4", I think. 350, 400-pound boy.
Really big guy.
A
Okay.
big guy. And he always scared everybody. Everybody was always so scared of him. And he was the most gentle person in the world. And so essentially like an elephant. Everybody's so scared of elephants because of their size and their stature, but they are literally the most genuine, loving animals. And so he always reminded me of elephants. So when he passed away, I got the elephant on my back, and my dad's birthday was in September, so his birthstone is like a dark blue color, so the eyes on my elephant are like dark blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
May I ask what your father passed away from?
Yeah. So in 2013, January 31st, 2013, he committed suicide.
Oh, dear.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, he shot himself in the head in his backyard.
Wow.
Yeah. I know that's kind of
I know
gruesome.
that probably left you and your family with a lot of trauma then.
Yeah, it did. It's horribly, like, knock on wood, this doesn't happen to anybody I know or anybody else in my family, but my family has a history of suicide.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of people, hence one of the tattoos, it's old and faded now, but it's essentially like this. Like anybody who has a semicolon, you know that it's like the suicide. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So it's because like a semicolon is kind of like a continuance.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like even though you ended, there's still a continuance.
It's not a period. It's just there's more coming.
Exactly. So like semicolons, if anybody has a tattoo of a semicolon, typically it means that they either know somebody, have dealt with somebody, something with suicide. Exactly. So my mom's little brother, same thing. He committed suicide. So it's just something that, you know, it's unfortunate. Like Suicide Awareness Month is a really big time in my life, like a big month. Like I like to give back to charities that, you know, help with suicide prevention and stuff like that. Because that's, you know, it's kind of something special to me, which is crazy to me because my dad's birthday is in September, and September is Suicide Awareness Month. So I'm just like,
wow.
You know, it's
Full
just like
circle.
there's so many weird situations. But, yeah, so that's essentially what that tattoo was from. And
Well, thank you so much for like explaining that to me. I applaud you for having the courage to talk about that.
yeah, for sure.
Okay. There's one more scene specific we gotta segue back to. I'm sorry we go from this gentle stuff to this nasty stuff again. But when I had J. Crew here earlier this year, he explained to me off camera that, you know, him dealing with his prostate cancer, you and Chanel were one of his last scenes that he shot himself.
Yes.
Can you explain that magical moment at the very end with the cum shot?
So actually, after that cum shot, me and Chanel pulled away out of the camera while he was still sitting there talking, and me and Chanel were actually behind the camera crying because he was crying and he was, you know, everything that he was going through. So you really never know what people deal with in porn, man, for sure. Because that scene was I think that scene was amazing. It was great. It was magical in its own way. You know, J. Crew essentially did not think that his penis was going to be able to get hard again. He wasn't sure what was going to happen after the surgery.
Wow.
So he was like, essentially, this is like my last scene ever shooting porn if my penis stops working.
Wow.
So luckily his penis is still working. But, you know, so in that moment though, you never know. And so like, as that situation happens and he's like coming all over me in Chanel's chest, you know, he sits down and he starts talking to the camera, and like me and Chanel back out, and like we're both sitting back there like crying and like wiping our tears. And then like when the camera went away, like we were all, me, her, J. Crew, we were all hugging each other, crying together. It was like, what the fuck? We just shot a bomb ass porn scene and now we're all crying because, you know, like you just have to put yourself in that mode of work, but there's still real life happening outside of the cameras.
I think that was a very natural and human moment. And I joked to him after he explained that story. I was like, wow, Chanel and Stella are immortalized.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it was a very eye-opening moment.
Well, speaking of eye-opening moments and scenes, have any scenes for you, Stella, been ever too much?
Yes.
Has it ever been too much? Like, out, cut, stop, cut the camera, ow, can't take it.
Yes. Yeah, more so like when I'm like, oh, I'm hurting. It's whenever they make me reverse cowgirl. I am a big girl, and Clint always wants me to face the camera and ride a dick backwards.
I love seeing that, you know. I'm a, you know, as a titty guy and as, you know, a jelly belly fanatic, that's just
you like it. Oh my god. Okay, but it's like
it couldn't be comfortable.
But
I'm
it's like scientifically, it's like, okay, that's meant for the 100-pound girls.
Yeah.
You want a girl who's 200-300 pounds, you know what I'm saying, bouncing backwards. I mean, she's got her belly in her way.
Yeah.
My legs are not up to par. Clearly, I don't go to the gym like I'm supposed to. So I am nowhere, shape, or form in shape for that. You know?
Because how much athleticism goes into
so
what
much.
You do?
And some
Sorry,
of those.
say, don't say it.
No, you're fine.
All right.
And some of those scenes, it's like I will literally be in the middle of having a whole cramp, like in my groin, and I'm still having to fuck. And it's like, are you kidding me? Because of like all of the positions that they need you, you know, open up wider. Stella, I need you to open up more. I'm like, okay, I'm opening up. I don't know how to do the splits. Okay. So it's just like, oh God, it's rough.
Wow. And it's rough for all the girls of your size to do.
But there is a scene in particular that I did with Milan. Shout out Milan. I absolutely love him. He's a wonderful man. And Juan Largo. And
I want to interview Juan Largo.
I enjoy both of those men. I have done one-on-one scenes with both of them before, but together that was a lot of dick. Like, I realized so quick, even shooting that scene that I did with Stay Ready, because I actually was one of the first people that Stay Ready. Yes.
That he shot with.
Yes. So Stay Ready and Kendra, of course, shoot, you know, like they do their own thing. Yeah. And then I believe that they had done something with Virgo because, you know, her and Kendra were friends. But when it comes to like somebody outside of their little 3 thing that they had going on at one point, I was his very first ever person that he shot a scene with. And so that was really kind of cool too. But Stay Ready and Finny, I did a scene with them. That one wasn't too bad because they were both really gentle, really good on me. And Milan and Juan Largo, they weren't not gentle, but doing like professional porn versus content creating really is so different. And so it's like that scene with Juan Largo and Milan for Plumper Pass, that scene... Everybody loves that scene, but that scene took such a toll on me. At one point, I had to say, hey, you guys, I need to pee. And so we stopped the cameras, and I went to the bathroom, and I actually had to cry for a minute, collect myself, and then come back on set because it was so much dick. Like, the girls who can do, like Julie Ginger, who can take like 8 guys at one time, I seriously give her correct tit.
Is it mentally overwhelming or physically painful?
Both. Like, it... More than anything, it's probably mental for me. Like, that really is, like, I can do 2 girls. I can do 10 girls all day in one guy. But, like, multiple guys on me is so much. Like, because, like, I'm just not, I can't do it, you know? Like, I really do give the girls in the industry their props who can do that. Like, I've had multiple people reach out to me and say, hey, when am I going to get a gangbang scene? Da-da-da. Never. I'm letting you know now, never. You will never. No gangbang. You will never get multiple men on one Stella Daniels. It ain't happening. So I can't express that enough. Like, I really cannot handle that. So.
Word. Well, there you have it. Okay. All right. So that was ever too much. And last thing I will leave you with, Stella, is the biggest misconception of a lady in your profession.
That we're all scammers, and like I get a lot of, you know, there's a lot of girls in my profession who are, you know, they rob people, they're scammers, they do really messed up stuff, and you know, people just associate that with every person in this profession, and I feel like that's not true, you know.
Yeah. And just, you know, by this conversation and the little bit of, you know, texting and DMing we've done leading up to today, I can tell you're a very genuine and wholesome, big-hearted young lady. So and you know, it's unfortunate because not everybody's like that. No. You know, not everybody's like that. There are scammers. There are girls who rob guys and who scam guys and who do things like that. But at the end of the day, like, I'm a big believer in karma. And I believe that whatever energy I put into the earth is the energy that I'm going to get back in reciprocation. And if I don't get that energy back, what happens is like, in my belief system, so it's like whenever you do something, I believe in karma, but it's like, say I do something bad, right? And I don't get my karma. Well, that karma that was my bad karma, that if I don't get it back at some point, it transcends into my children. So then my children will get my bad karma, you know, like things will happen to my children because of my wrongdoings. And so I don't ever want there to be I never want a situation that says like, you know, like I want my karma to be clean at all times. Like, I don't steal, I don't rob, I don't, you know, I do everything out of love. I do everything with the most purest intentions, the purest of my heart. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, karma's a big one, and I don't want anything that I've done in my life, if it doesn't come back to me, like, because, you know, like they always say, like, oh, karma's going to catch up to you. If it doesn't happen now, it'll happen in a year. If it doesn't happen now, it'll happen in 10 years. Well, what happens in 10 years if what happens if less than 10 years, when my karma's supposed to come back to me, I get into a car wreck and I die? Well, that karma is going to go to my kids. My bad karma is going to transcend to my children, and I don't want that by any means. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in karma myself.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Stella, thank you so much for getting down with Thiccness. It's been a long time coming. This has been one that has been requested from day one. And I love telling people that you were the first person to shout me out. Yeah. You dropped that first one with Chanel and Monique.
I loved it because, you know, Chanel and Monique, at the end of the day, I love them so much. Yeah. You know, Chanel is one of my best friends. I don't have any, I would like to think I don't have any enemies in the industry. I try not to make any enemies. I try not to, I get in, I do what I'm supposed to do, and I get out. And, at the end of the day, Chanel and Monique, like, they are good people. They are great people. And that was important for you. It was like one of your things. Like, so I was like, okay, I gotta share this.
I just, from that day at the end of March of last year to now, I was like, you know what? I knew this would be a thing, but I did not know it would be this well received by this community. So thank you so much to all the protectors. And we just gonna keep rocking it, man. Keep going. Keep going. Energizer Bunny, keep going.
Yes.
All right, Stella. Well, let them know where they can find you, follow you, and check out all your amazing content.
Yes. Okay, so my website, www.stelladaniels.com, is up and active. That is like the one thing I'm trying to promote the most. I have OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/stunning Stella Daniels. My Twitter is at Stella Star DTX, I think. See, I don't even get on Twitter that much. My Instagram is at Stunning Stella Daniels. There's a bunch of fakes, so make sure you find the right one. Did I miss anything? I think that might be it.
There you go. Okay. Well, my Instagram is at the Thiccness Protection Program. Twitter and TikTok is at Thiccness Pro. Make sure you are subscribed to youtube.com/PalmOfficial. Make sure you're following the podcast on Spotify. Until then, Stella, this was a pleasure.
This was a pleasure.
And take care. Join me in yelling this chant at the people watching at home. We want thickness. We want thickness. We want thickness. We want thickness. Out.
We want thickness.
Peace, love, palm.